if we look at the market right now, on a short term, we do have some positive events slowly turning in for Bitcoin. Then if we look at the entire market, you can see small caps are starting to pick up pace, and even the large caps are slowly turning to the green side. Now, what really is happening, right? We need to look at that stuff. So when you are looking at the dollar, you can see like, okay, it's up on the day, but look at the trend of the strength. It's slowly reducing and it's trending lower. Right now, it is approaching the resistance. So the market is anticipating that it can get rejected and the prices of these assets can go higher. This is the crypto market, excluding Bitcoin. So the altcoins, great. Now, one perspective which you need to think about is imagine this as an accumulation range. So if this is an accumulation range and you already did this wick lower, that's a possibility of a Wyckoff spring. And right now, in a lot of individual assets in the crypto market, you are observing the same. Just some of them, like XRP, are playing a different game. They already completed that phase. They are now holding on above that, right? So we need to actually see like what is the possibility. There are like, different things evolving in the market right now. Some of them positive, some of them good, some of them bad. But, you get to see what the idea here is. Even though the market in general is showing you some mixed signals, you do get to see from some assets staying up. And especially when Bitcoin tries to give you some bullish indications, it's important to watch that, right? So that's what we're going to discuss through in a short period of time. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. So now, when you look at this one, you can easily see that the price actually pushed this one and again a lower wick here and then this one. So it kind of made a bottom here, after which the price slowly went on to test the moving average. So if you actually take them out and look at this, it is now yet again giving you the same signal like this. So the possibility of the price going higher is there. Now, if you take that from the RSI, it's simply putting a trend line here and looking at the RSI. It kind of shows you like there is a probability that it can act as an inverse head and shoulder. Now that may not be life-changing move out there in the market, but 20% of move in 28% move in the RSI means it should come up here to the 50 mark on a daily, which is actually significant because if it can reach 50, we usually consider 48, 52 or above that as bullish, the price being bullish at that stage. Now, imagine if the price action is reaching that level. Now, if you zoom out and put a horizontal line there and ask yourself like how long the price has stayed above that range or below that range. And when the price was staying above that range, was it a bull phase or a bear phase? It's actually going to be an easy question, right? Whenever you are trending that level or higher, it usually is a bullish phase of the market cycle. Now, yes, you can actually zoom in and look at the same like, okay, it's showing the same. So if you are a candlestick guy, you would actually look at this and say, okay, I personally look at this and say, okay, that is a bullish reversal signal. Great. And just before that, you got this one too. So you got one, you went up, you got resisted here at the trend line resistance. And right now, you're also trying to go break that one. So that's Bitcoin. Now we keep the same perspective for the market and come on, look at the entire market, the alt market. Now this is on a weekly, it's going to be really hard to get a lot of noise. To analyze this deep, you may need some noise. Now, you get to see three tests of the bottom in which one, which was the earlier one, had made that lower wick and then went above that. Great. Here, if you look at this, you already have 1 and 2. This is the third one, which actually is slowly moving like the Bitcoin's way of reacting. So here, it can literally make something positive, right? It can literally show you an inverse head and shoulder. And I think that's what the market is actually looking at. Now, taking the same perspective here towards the RSI of the total market, you actually see this possibility too. Like, you can zoom in, you can take in the same view like what we did for Bitcoin, and you'll end up thinking about the market in the same way. Just the difference is here, if you are really optimistic trying to connect them, you can also argue that the strength is actually breaking to the upside, which showed you an inverse head and shoulder possibility, and breaking to the upside is actually a bullish scenario with a triple bottom pattern. Now, this daily candle close is actually important, because if you actually remove all this and just be that candlestick guy, you'll say, okay, this closing above the previous day is actually an engulfing pattern, but for that we literally have to wait and see how this day closes. But for XRP, the way we actually saw it, it's already turning bullish. We can actually see this was the range of accumulation which the price went through, which is not actually a bad thing. Yeah, we went through that and we came back into this range because of the FTX drama. But right now, as we broke this level to the upside, we came back down to retest this range. We did the retest, and right now we are bouncing off from there. So the normal plot, which we all usually do now, that is general market, right? It's not only crypto. Wherever you go, you get to see the trend like this. So when the market is trending higher, each time, say if this is the previous resistance, it comes here to test it as an support. Great. So if we say like this is happening, now one of the easiest way to revalidate that would be like, okay, let me change the candlestick into a line chart and look at this. Great. So what we can easily observe there is this was your previous top, and then you connect all these tops here, you get a trend line like this. What happens? The price breaks that one, come lower, test this and go back up. Now to get a huge short-term bull action, you need to break this level, which is not that far. The price is right now at 0.4, and the price just need to break 0.401. So if that happens, the benefit is next one you are looking at this level. Now all of these are like short-term price action. To get the bigger picture for XRP, you will literally have to go on towards the macro chart in the same line chart. Why is that important? Because when you go back into the line chart on a macro scale, you get something same. Now understand this, on a micro scale, when you have a breakout, retest and bounce structure, which aligns with the macro trend here, which actually shows you like, okay, it is going through this trend perspective. Great. So now you actually see like, okay, yes, we do see this is a base being formed, and that base is now getting higher momentum. What do we mean by that? You zoom into that base and see like, okay, that was a created base, but right now the trend is actually increasing. So each time when the price is coming back lower, more buyers are being present, and they are also willing to buy this before it hits the previous low, meaning a little bit of FOMO still exists in the market. So now that's on a weekly perspective. Now you go all the way back on a monthly perspective. So what are you looking at here? The trend here on the short leg is to the downside. Yes, agreed. This was your bottom for the cycle. You bounced off. You went on to test the previous top on a monthly scale. Now what you're trying to do is to check this resistance, which turned into support, and again resistance, and then it extends all the way up to here. Now you are in that territory where you are retesting this range. Now at that range is where you actually put in, now this is on a monthly chart, this double bottom pattern. So most technical analysis guys actually will come on and say, now I'll also fall in that category. When you get that double bottom pattern on this long of a time frame, which is like monthly chart, you break that to the upside, that's a bullish signal. Now coming back to retest that range is going to be a golden opportunity for anyone who has a little bit patience to buy into that bounce, because as it bounces from here, imagine this month is almost over, so you are literally going to look at what the next month is going to show you, right? So if the next one is going to be a little bit bullish and you're going to bounce off from here, you now know what you're going to see on that line chart, right? That's something we just talked about, right? You get to see this pattern. Say, for example, if you are recreating this, you see it came down, went up, it came back down to test this bottom. It held and you went up. Now, when you went up, you had to test this range as a resistance, but you happened to break that and go higher. Now, as you broke higher and went up, now you're coming back to retest this range. So this is your range. Great. So here, to put that into perspective, that's 0.38, close to that. So if the price actually bounces from that level, next one, this is what you're observing. A new trend starting. It's at the bottom. Now, why do I repeat this? Because here, what you see is something which looks similar to what we saw here back in 2020 with that crash. Now, all of these are like, the psychological market sentiment coming into the play. One was like, the health crises came in, the COVID kind of hit, everything shut down, lockdown, blah, blah, blah. Everything happened, right? The markets went down. But here you literally see a double bottom pattern and then the price went up. But the price did not actually come all the way back down to retest. Instead, it had a previous level of resistance which it held and went back up. But for us, here we don't. We have nothing in that range. So most likely 0.38 is going to be that support which we need to hold. But this pattern of double bottom is more likely holding right now, which is actually a good news. Here it can also be told as a rounded bottom formation, but here it's just the double bottom reversal, which is also significant. Now, when you take that perspective and then move on to look at what the dollar is doing, you can just take it in the same picture, right? You go and put that into a line chart and you can look at this. Now, when you are on a weekly candle, you can literally see there is a possibility of inverse head and shoulder formation, which is actually bearish. Now, if this support actually breaks here, then you won't even get that. You're coming all the way back down, which is actually good for the markets. You're going to see all kind of markets slowly going back up. And that's why one of the reasons you will actually observe all coins doing well. Now, for that matter, you can actually go here. You can actually take in the crypto market and just go and look at the BTC dominance, right? Now, again, we'll take that in the line chart for the ease of understanding and then move on to a weekly. You'll still see like the trend is not great. This was the first bottom which you put in. This is the next one. This is the next one. So the trend is to the downside. Now, if you connect the tops, you see something similar. You're actually trending to the downside. You're not actually trending to the upside. And if you say, okay, the possibility of the horizontal support here, we are right now at the bottom part of that. So unless we break to the upside, there is nothing going to be looking like bulls active here for Bitcoin compared to that of the altcoin market. And this is like the trend. You broke to the downside, retested that, and still now you did not break back higher. So that's not actually a good outlook for the Bitcoin dominance. But what we have in understanding from all the previous downsides is that when you drop heavy, you do this before you go down. And even in all of these corrections, you can see this clearly. You do this, you go back up once and then come back down, or consolidate there and then come back down. You go back up, you come back down. So here you actually see this. You consolidated, you're going back up, you get hit hard, now you're coming back down. So if that's that down part, it's actually great for the altcoin market because that is going to be the wave 2 scenario which we've been waiting for a very long time, testing almost everyone's patience here. The patience level is so hard and it's really hard to even think like, okay, we've been waiting for this long. Now remember, there are people who say, oh, I've been holding XRP from 5 years, there is no profit. I'm like, if you are here in the market 5 years back, so you take from here, right? You're by the end of 2022, 2021, 2020, you had time here to buy 0.11. So you're already 2-3x in XRP, just in XRP, which is, not that best performing asset right now. But then if you say, okay, no, I came in the market 5 years back. Now you're here. You're in 2017. You bought way lower. You're at least 10x. So either you're lying or you don't know how to calculate profits. That's the hard part, right? Math is actually easy. Just use a calculator. Anyway, now when you actually come on here and look at the primary structure here, this is the bad part. Even if we are bouncing, unless we break this range, it's going to be really hard because that is the medium term support resistance zone. The long term is actually positive. We are holding that as a support, which is good news. But the next big overhead resistance, which we will have to surpass, is this 0.5 to 0.55 range. Last time we got rejected with a head and shoulder pattern. So if we manage to break back, that's going to be great. So on a daily, it's actually looking like, okay, we got that structure, we are going back up. This does look like a continuation pattern. So a chance of testing that 0.53 for 0.55 range is good. Now, for that, on a short-term structure, say a 4-hour structure, you need to actually observe Bitcoin dominance slowing down. So here we are looking at the Bitcoin dominance, and it, for me, does not show like it is slowing down. There is a possibility of a bounce, and it may go back up to 41% before it actually get rejected. Now, we'll have to see how the market respond or the higher time frame structure, because here the higher time frame structure is not agreeing with the shorter time frame structure. The higher time frame is actually showing you it's trending to the downside, and the RSI is also trending to the downside. It broke, at least for my eyes, it broke the support trend line and it retested and failed, which is actually a bad news. If you look at that on a proper sense, right? You get this, you go all the way there, and then you break that, retest that, and get rejected. So even on a daily time horizon, it does not actually look good, but on a short term, it shows like there can be some volatility. So keep all of this in your mind and understand this can happen. Now they talk like, okay, inflation is going to be there, but right now the inflation is like 6-7% almost around the globe, and they're saying, okay, we may see 3% next year. That's half of what it is now. So which means they are pricing in that Fed is going to do a couple of hikes, maybe 50, maybe 35, who knows, or 150 and then a 35, or let's see how it goes, because then the market is going to go back up and they will have thought process like, okay, after that blow off, it's going to go deep into a correction. And they now have around, 6%, 7% interest, almost average on all central banks to slowly cut the rates to stimulate the market, which is actually weird. They push this up, push this down, and the market get impacted. So if you are prepared, you make some bucks or you go bankrupt. Now, on the fundamental side of this, watching this from the Reserve Bank of Atlanta is actually looking good. Meaning they're actually talking about this, payments, what add our attention. So what are they thinking about? An omni-channel, interoperability, frictionless. Okay, all of this does look really interesting, right? They talk about the new payments infrastructure is now there, because the world is changing and they cannot stay back. They cannot say like, we don't actually see this. So yes, we will see some institutions getting hit hard, some of them going bankrupt, and some of these crazy steps as well. Now, on the other half, I would actually ask like, how many of you were actually holding XRP on that ballot? Not many, right? So it does not actually matter much, but the perspective of Coinbase doing this to XRP, they've been doing this negative stuff to XRP from a very long time. But once the adoption level goes up and the price skyrockets and you guys are now multi-millionaires, these guys will send you emails, marketing emails. Oh, yo, we have everything, come back to us. That will still happen. But remember back at that time, don't forget what they did now and before, because there are only few institutions which even allow you to trade or buy XRP in the US right now. So don't be that guy who forgets everything. Remember that and act accordingly. With that being said, we will request you, if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have 3 to 5 more minutes, please do visit this channel. This is the second channel of mine where we discuss life, success, and wealth creation. So if you have thought process to improve the videos, I'm more than welcoming that one here. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.